Morning,
It's not
Good
even
morning,
10
everybody.
o'clock yet.
Good morning.
Yeah, well, you have to stay on your toes around here.
That's right.
Yeah, we got the regular crew this morning.
Keep everybody guessing. Is it 9? Is it 10? That's how
Yeah.
we get channel engagement, is to confuse our audience.
That's right.
Keeps everybody on their toes.
They let us know when we're not doing well. Well, Steve, tell us who's griping this morning.
Oh
Yeah.
man, we got a full house. We got Mike and Carville. Good morning, Mike. We got Mark Pruitt, Rob T-Man, Grandpa Rails, JD. Good morning, Steve Anderson, Gerald Stewart, Jeff Thornton. Good morning, Jeff. Welcome, my buddy Bernard. Good morning, Bernard. Chris Brew, how are you doing this morning? Let's see. I know. Did I say Gerald Stewart? I think I did. Got Paul Schwanderer. I can't say that. Schwanderer. Let's see. I know I'm missing somebody. Come on. We got Steve. Okay, we got Steve Waybills. We got Volkster. Messy Modeler. Good morning.
Steve 87 is here. What's up?
Yeah,
Steve?
that's the old Mr. Anderson. Anderson's a character.
He's right about that right there, though. The audience is not confused. It's the host. Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
fact.
Anderson's a card. I'll tell you. Yeah, if you're ever around him, you gotta be on your toes.
Oh yeah, he'll keep you guessing. Anyway,
we had such a good time on that trip.
Oh, we sure did.
Yeah, Brenda left that dinner that night. When we went out to dinner, and we left at dinner, and she's all the way back to the hotel, shaking her head. I can't believe these guys.
She was a good sport, though.
Oh yeah, she had a good time. She was having a good time. Anyway, so what are we doing this morning?
Talking
looking
weather.
at it.
Oh, you're about looking at it right now.
Yeah.
You're making some good headway, Claude. You're just about done.
Just got one more little session to turn down. Ted's going to come over and help me again.
You'll be done today.
The last few posts I've done, I was doing on my own, but I've got to get back underneath it again. Somebody does, and he's a lot shorter than I am. So he's volunteered to help me with that. And then all I got to do is get rid of all the trash and clean up the room so I can put all the buildings and stuff like that in there. So I've got room downstairs to start building. So.
Are you going to leave the room as layout storage until such time as you get started on the next project?
Yeah, I'm going to have to, because I don't have, if I try to store it downstairs in the shop, I won't have room to work. So, and I'm going to have to do some changing in my shop too with how I've got it, because it was set up. I set it up for my business when I was working, to use my bench tools and stuff. And I can do some stuff with some of that. I think that I will make it a little easier to put a layout in there.
When you planning on starting that one? Any ideas?
When I get this one down and get all the trash hauled off and get everything straightened around, because the shop is a total pit.
So you got to clean up.
Yeah, this old house episodes. That's exactly right, Steve. Yeah, so I just want to have everything done. I don't want to start something before I get all this done and get it all out and cleaned and all that, and then I'll start on it. So I'm guessing probably this summer sometime, maybe late spring.
Never know.
Never know. Yeah.
Depends how fast it all comes together.
Yeah.
Maybe you could recruit some neighborhood young teenagers to help you bring that crap downstairs.
It's what my wife said. She goes, why don't you hire somebody to haul all that down? Well, there's not much there. It's
But still,
Some
like,
of it I'm keeping. Some of it I'm keeping. All the 1-bys and 2x2s and stuff like that. I'm gonna keep those in case I need them. Because God knows lumber's gone out the roof.
you hire a kid, one kid or two kids, they probably bring all that crap down in an hour.
And
Probably
maybe,
less than an hour.
I'm just
maybe.
saying, yeah. I mean, for them,
And they probably beat the stair rail and the wall
well,
up too on the way down.
you gotta supervise them.
It's really not too bad. I've already been taking some of it down, and I've thrown a couple of big trash cans, filled it up 2 or 3 times, let the trash take it. And that's what I'm probably going to do with most of it. I just got to get it cut and stuff. So,
Mm.
Yeah.
but that'll all happen as soon as I get the rest of it down, which I'm real close to doing.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to the next project.
Which is?
I don't know.
He's talking about for me. He's talking
Yeah.
about for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh,
Well,
I
I'm
thought
looking forward to it too.
Huh?
I'm looking forward to it too. That's why I'm so close to getting this done now that it's getting exciting again.
Yeah.
You know, when I first started taking stuff down off the layout, it was like it was kind of bittersweet, because I really liked the layout the way it was. But
Hugh Jessel says orphanages are the answer to someone that's been adopted, and take them back when you're done.
it's not very nice.
uh,
Do you are you like mulling over track plans in your head right now?
no, not really.
Yeah.
Jack, I only threw one away, and it was because it was damaged too much. I've saved most of them, but I'm not going to be using any of them, I don't think. Unless I use a middle divide, on one of the tables or something, and I've got a backdrop on that, but I don't foresee that happening. But I've got all the rest of them. I can't even remember which one I ended up throwing out.
Are you an any rail guy, Claude, or you just
No, any rail doesn't work on Mac.
you just start laying track and figure out your track
Yeah.
plan from there?
I used the same thing Dennis did, the Empire Deluxe.
Oh,
And it's good enough for what I was going to do.
is that free?
Yeah, well, they have a free version.
Yeah.
Free versions of everything is worthless, right?
Yeah. The free version.
You
The free
get to
version only
add
gives you
100
an idea.
items to your layout, and then you're done. And after you can't do anything with the free version.
Yeah, but if you got a small layout, maybe it's fine, But for
Maybe, but even the smallest layout is probably, and I don't even know if it's 100 items or if it's 50. I mean, it's like so minute.
It's only enough to give you a taste of how it works.
Right.
And you can make a decision on whether or not to buy it or not. I bought the deluxe is the paid for version, but it wasn't very much.
$30, I think, is what I'd give for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I was
Is
going
it
to say
good? Is it good?
$20.
Recommended over any of the other ones?
Well, I've never used any of the others, so I can't say. I would suspect that it's not as good as the others, just because of the limitations of what you can use as objects in the program. Like, for instance, my only issue with it is you can't define the turnout size. So if you're building in the program a certain area with a certain number of turnouts, what it's going to be in the real space is probably going to be different than what it is in the computer, just because you're not using the same size crap.
So they don't actually have a track library?
They do, but you're not going to find fast tracks in it.
No.
Closest, what I should have done when I got started, for anyone who cares now, if you're doing narrow gauge and you're building fast tracks, I think the closest thing you have available to you are the Shinohara that's in the program.
But the other thing you can do too is they give you an option where you can customize or make a custom size of the turnout.
Okay.
They do?
So you can go in and set if I remember right, you can set the angle and all that kind of stuff on them.
See what you
News to me.
Yeah, it's in there.
I never heard of this
It's been
program.
a while since I've been in it, so but I
You
remember
probably
there was
wouldn't
something
unless
like
you're a
that.
Mac user and a model railroader.
Oh, it's only for Macs?
I wouldn't say
No,
it's only for Mac, but it's one of the only things that
that works on
you
the
can
Mac.
easily work with Mac.
Gotcha.
Where everything like there's things you can do to use AnyRail and those other things where you have to like open up a instance of Windows in your Mac and then you can use it or things like that. But I didn't want to mess with all that.
Mike
Yeah.
says it is for Mac OS, so yeah. It worked good enough for me because all I was after was, trying to find something that was going to fit in that room because I had kind of an L-shaped space and that corner that came back into that space. I had to find out how to get around that. And so, when I looked at enough layouts and layout books and stuff like that, and then kind of messed with stuff, it came to me, hey, make that a loop where you can actually do a helix up to the upper deck, but the standard gauge, I could just stack the two loops on top of each other, and it worked out perfect that way. But I'd have never thought of that without going and looking at the layout books and stuff that are out there and finding parts of layouts that fit what I needed in that room. And one of the things I didn't like about some of the track planning software, not only does it not work with Mac, but then some of them, they've got set pieces, and set pieces aren't always the same measurement. Like Dennis was saying,
Yeah.
you pick one and they say, oh, well, it's a Shinohara turnout or something like that. But it doesn't mean it's exactly the right size for what you're doing. So anyway, yeah, it was okay. It was okay software planning deal. Although once I got the basic layout, that's all. It went away. I quit using it.
I prefer working with the 3D stuff anyway. I have an idea that it will work. And the only place that I've noticed that it has caused me any problems, and I wouldn't even use the word problem, is just that it's not right in the program as compared to how it's going to be in the real 3D world is my Cloud City, because I've got a run of turnouts, and the difference from the throw out bar to the frog on each of the ones in the program is just not the same as fast tracks, like by 3 or 4 inches. So you put 4 of those together and you're off by quite a little bit.
Well, the other thing about software, track planning software, is you have to make the allowance for any grade crossing that you do at different levels. You have to know how thick the bench work's going to be where that crosses over. If you're not using a bridge. If you're using a bridge, obviously the bridge height and everything. But if you're not, if you're crossing over something, saying hidden trackage or any place like that where one goes over the other, but it's not a bridge, you have to allow for that extra base underneath the top track for clearance of the train underneath it. And that's something that if you're not thinking about it, you'll forget it, and you'll get to that point and you'll go, oh, well, crap, that's not going to work. And then you're stuck because now you got to go back and you got to recalibrate your rise and everything else. So that's one thing I've seen on some of the software deals, that you have to add that in. They don't.
See, I did all of my grade work, had nothing to do with my track planning software. I did all of that in Excel and
yeah, but you may plan for it.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. You don't want to, because like me, when I was building, most of my final track plan came out as I was going. So I didn't, I built it as I went. I didn't have a track plan and say, okay, here it is, and put it on the layout and built it just like that. I didn't do that. So that's where, if you're doing it that way, it works, but you've got to know if you've got a rise going into something like, for me, the Helix, you have to add that base of whatever that track above is sitting on. You've got to add that in your clearance. So you've got, you're, instead of being just say 3 inches
And the
above,
cork.
you got to be 4 or 5 inches above so that you've got something to put that top track on.
Yeah.
You want to see my track planning software?
Oh, wait a minute.
That's a nice one, man. How did you get?
There you go.
How'd you
So
get that?
that's literally what's behind you.
Yeah. That was
I think that's the first time I've ever seen it.
How'd you get those curves so fluid?
Oh, I'm just a good drawer.
You are, man.
He was so happy to have something besides a crayon.
Did you use anything to set your radius?
No.
Radii?
No, that was I don't know. I don't know. I think I measured it out. I don't know. But that's that was it. That was the original.
I think the curve radius, I think, was the biggest thing I got out of the Empire software.
And it's probably one of the most important elements of what you're doing. If you've got the room space and you know how much aisle space you want and countertop or whatever you want to call it, sub road bed, knowing the radius of any turn is half the battle.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most important thing. It's the most important thing that lets you know that you're going to fit.
Yeah, exactly. Because you think, oh, well, it's gonna work, and then you get to putting it up there, and it's way too tight.
It's not something you can't just say, yeah, maybe it'll work, and then once you start doing it, and it don't work, then you're like,
and you never have as much
yourself crazy.
You never have as much space on your layout as you have in your head.
Yeah.
It's you just don't have it. You think you've got plenty of room, and then you start putting stuff in, and you go, "This is not going to fit."
Well, then I go and try to put a second main line in it. That was what was really challenging.
Yeah, because you think, well, I got the first one in, I got lots of room, but then when you start sticking another curve inside that one, it's a lot tighter. It makes a big difference.
Yeah. And that was one of the primary reasons why I began using mock-ups. Was when I built the Time Saver, I had in mind a specific model for the station, and I didn't account for the size of the model. And I think I even looked at, because it's a Bar Mills model kit. I think I even looked at the footprint on it, and it would have fit, but a K27 wouldn't go by it. It would crash into the side of it. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So I any place where I've got a trackside feature, anything that's going to have a track next to it, it would be very wise to actually have a structure or a mock-up or something that you can put a track gauge next to while you're laying the track, because that I had to change, if I remember right, I had to change the model, and I think I also had to change where the main line was, which ended up pushing out the main line further than I wanted it to be. And that was definitely a learning experience for me.
They do look okay. And Path Valley's right here. Misjudging size and angles of turnouts. That's a big thing that happens a lot. You think, especially on a yard track, yard ladder or something like that. That was a nice thing about having built my own turnouts, you
Yeah.
can condense some of that stuff. You know, they're commercially available. Micro Engineering has the ladder track system now, where those are actually a little closer together than what you would get in a single turnout and then stack them together.
Saves
But
a lot of room, that ladder
it
track.
can, but you still got to remember what's your clearance on your ladders. You know,
Right.
if you're coming off, you got to make sure that you're still far enough apart.
Mhm.
But yeah, you can save a lot of room building your own turnouts and doing it that way. But there's other things come into
Yeah.
it when you.
But
when you're
you
doing
also
it.
have to know whether or not your equipment will go through
Right.
like a number 4 turnout. Like the only thing that will go through a number 4 turnout on my railroad are the consolidateds.
Well, I could
So,
get a K27 through it, but I
well,
had to
yeah,
go
I can.
really slow.
The K27s will, but that only my Blackstones.
Yeah,
You know, uh,
the brass
Mount Model
models aren't going
imports,
to.
they're not going to go through because there's just not enough slop in the wheel sets to allow, you know, the last driver to be an eighth of an inch this way and the front driver to be an eighth of an inch that way. You know, it just doesn't
Yeah.
work.
Well,
Number 5s are the minimum I would ever suggest anyone that's doing narrow gauge, if they're going to be using K27s and higher. I wouldn't suggest using anything other than a 5 or bigger.
I don't
Yeah.
know, but I would say even number 5s in diesel locomotives you're pretty safe with, you know. Once you start going into 4s and, you know, bigger locomotives are going to have problems with it.
Yeah,
A 3-axle or 2-axle, because that's big difference between a 3-axle and a 2-axle, because you got to have that ability to pivot.
Yeah.
And the longer your wheelbase is, the less room you have to pivot.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things to take into consideration when you're making a track plan, that's for sure, depending on what you're wanting in it. And of course, we all have a tendency to put way too much track into a space. So much so to the point where there's no way you're going to make it look realistic. You know, it's going to always look like a toy.
I would say,
I remember looking at track plans and 101 track plans and some of the great big ones that are made for like a garage size space. And they got so much track on those things, you could put them in a museum and spread it out, you know? And it's like, you're going, where now, okay, where am I going to put any buildings on this plan? Because there's so much, they're all right next to each other.
yeah.
And I always thought that was kind of weird that they would do that, but that's people trying to get as much into it as they can, which I understand, but it
Yeah.
doesn't work out very well that way.
I think you're better off if you're building any size layout. I think you're better off learning any of the track designing programs so that you save yourself a lot of aggravation and money just going out and buying things. And even the templates, like you could go and get the templates from Walthers online for all your turnouts on various things. And even those aren't right compared to the actual turnout, the physical turnout. They're not right either.
Well, a lot of that is, Fast Tracks gives you templates, ways to print templates too, but you have to make sure your printer is calibrated properly.
Right.
Because if your printer wants to change the size of it because of the size of the paper, whatever,
Right.
then, that changes the size of your turnout. And if
Yeah.
it makes it smaller and you're thinking, oh, this is all going to fit, and then you build your turnouts and they don't fit,
Yeah.
so.
One of the things that I did early on that I would suggest anyone do is find out with your equipment what is the minimum radius that you can actually make use of.
Right.
And I figured out that an 18-inch radius was the absolute smallest that every piece of equipment that I had would work. And then I tried my hardest to make everything at least a 20-inch. I think there's 3 places on the railroad right now where I have an 18-inch radius curve.
Yeah, I had one that was an 18-inch radius. And even the Blackstone sometimes didn't want to pull anything up that or around that curve because it was
If
also
it's on a
an incline.
radius, that adds to your effective grade, and that's why you need an online calculator before you go doing those things, because you can pull a 2% grade pretty easy with a longer train if it's straight. You add an 8-10 inch radius to it, you've probably just made it a 3%, maybe a 3.5% grade.
Yeah.
That's another thing I did is
it's called a compensated grade, and same
Yeah.
problem with the real railroads.
Yeah.
Well, my whole
I did
plan
that too.
originally for that tight turn there was anything that went up the helix was going to be at least double headed. So I had already planned on that. I wanted to do double heading and stuff like that, or helper at the back end or something like that. So I'd already kind of figured that in, because I knew my helix grade was probably 2.5 to 3% going up the entire helix. Well, not the entire helix, but most of the helix. Then you still have to calculate in the radius, which the radius on it was like 22, I think. Once I got into the mountain, but you still, if you're pulling more than 4 cars up the thing and you've got them weighted to scale weights, you're going to have some help getting up there.
Yeah.
Because that was the one thing about Blackstone engines that everybody complained about was their pulling power, and it's mainly because they don't have any weight to them. They're not the heavy brass like the old Japanese and Korean engines were.
I've been meaning to put a Blackstone and weigh it as compared to like my precision scale, because my Blackstones they outpull my precision scale.
Really?
Yeah. I've got a the 461, the one that's had the problem with, and it still does. I fixed it a little bit, but it still derails. It's never pulled as well as my Blackstones, both K27s, and I think it's brass. There might be some composite in it as well. I don't really know, but
well, I saw a video several years ago because I was looking into how do I add weight to a Blackstone engine. Well, there's not a lot of places to put it, for one thing, but this guy had found some stuff. It was like a putty, but it was heavy. I don't know if it had tungsten stuff in it or what, but you could put it in, small places and hard to reach places, and then it would firm up in there. And he said that worked really well for him.
Yeah, I think if you have an O scale or larger, one of the things, like if you send it in for DCC and sound, there are some shops that will also balance the locomotive, because where you put the weight is important. Like you putting an extra ounce of weight in the cab
Ain't
not
gonna
going to probably do you any good. It might make it worse.
Yeah.
So where you put it does matter. And also the springs, you have to have good adhesion to the track on all 4 of your drivers, or 8, depending on how you want to count them. If you don't have good soft springs, and you hit any kind of bump, your front drivers come up off the track, you just turned your 280 into a 260.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of calculating when you're going to add weight to a locomotive, to a steam locomotive, especially a small one. N scale, I would imagine, would be the same kind of way. Although I haven't had N scale in many, many moons. And I didn't have any steam N scale.
I believe
I
they're
don't
all
know.
cast in plastic, Jack.
I don't know where you put the weight in them anyway, Claude. They're so small.
They are, but he showed some spots. He was also doing it with some other locos that he had, and because this stuff is like a putty, you could take it and push it in, and even just make like places where you might have only had eighth of an inch or something clearance in, say, the top of the boiler, he could push it up against that because it would adhere to the top of the boiler, but still be clear of everything else.
Mark, have you been successful in adding any weight to a pilot truck, just out of curiosity? Because I've thought that is something that, if I could figure out how to do, would absolutely be beneficial. But I haven't really looked into doing it yet.
Yeah, Bernard, it's hard to get a draft if you plug up the stack. I don't think it'll run very well.
Yeah, I wish I knew the name of the guy that was doing that, or his channel number. It's been several years ago when I saw it, and but he had some good ideas, and they seemed to work because he actually showed how they ran before and after, and for him at least, it was working real well. Moving off the track.
I wish I could say that. I've got a 280. It's a brass locomotive, and my front pilot constantly wants to come off. And I think it needs a centering spring, like some Foster's bronze centering spring might help. I don't know.
We'll see. And Mark, what the difference is in Mark's and ours is he's using regular standard HO.
Yeah.
There's going to be a little bit more weight regardless.
Yeah. Yeah. When you get to the lightweight stuff is when it's really tough to keep it on the tracks, on the rails sometimes.
Yeah. I was having problems with the rear truck on my, say precision scale. It's not precision scale. It's probably made with precision scale parts, but it's the Mountain Model imports. And I finally decided that one of the wheel sets was out of gauge. When the person who put the decoder in did the decoder work, they lit up one side of the tender. So I've got Foster's bronze scrapers on all of the tires on one side of the tender. When he did that, he added, I'm assuming what they are is PCB, and he soldered them directly over top of the screw that separates the two halves of the truck. So you're not getting the truck apart to take the wheels out and to re-gauge them. So and it was one of those things where I'm like, there's nothing I can do about this. I'm sick and tired of not being able to run this locomotive, because it's my nicest looking locomotive. It's also my nicest running locomotive, but the rear truck constantly derails, and I'm sick of this. So I went in and forced the trucks, the wheels out of the trucks, re-gauged them, put them back in, and now the truck frames on the rear truck, they're just a little bit crooked, so they don't track with each other. The front wheels are kind of like going this way, and the back wheels, it derails 50 to 75% less than it did before, but it still derails. I've got to replace that entire rear truck, and I don't know where to get one exactly.
So you can't get parts for it.
Well,
which one is it on?
It's on my MMI, Mountain Model Imports 461, okay. The green one, the nice looking one, probably my nicest looking locomotive. So if you go into precision scale, they show a truck for a K27. I just have no idea if it's the same truck. And I emailed them and they're like, we don't know if that'll work on your model. Like, but if you look on their site, it says Precision Scale Company, and then in small letters underneath Precision Scale Company, it says Mountain Model Imports. So,
Have you
Jack
talked?
Jack wants to see it.
Have you talked to anybody in the hobby, like other modelers?
I haven't thrown anything out to like someone who I know works on locomotives.
Yeah.
Especially the brass locomotives. But because the thing is I know what the problem is, right? I can see it with my naked eye.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of replacing that truck with a proper truck.
Yeah.
And
you're on Facebook, so go to like the Brass Locomotive Facebook groups.
yeah, I will eventually.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get it fixed and don't want to dork around. How much is the truck from them? Is it expensive?
Well, that's another irritation with precision scale. They've got no price listing whatsoever. It's like you have to email them and make an order, provide your card number and stuff, and then I guess they tell you how much it costs. I know it's not expensive.
Yeah.
I've been perusing eBay hoping to find one, that I can just purchase off eBay because I'm not in that big of a hurry for it.
Yeah.
As long as I don't back into my engine house and frying pan, for the most part, it no longer derails. So I can live with that for a while.
Anderson says he's still trying to understand best running locomotive that keeps derailing. Well, sometimes they run good, but they derail, Anderson. It's just how it is.
You got to find the one that doesn't derail.
Yeah. Yeah, but probably
where Claude went.
He went like this and then left.
Maybe he's got
a
brass K27 truck from Precision Scale. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. He's got so much stuff. He's probably digging through the box right now.
Well, see, the thing is, I've got two more of those models. I've got the 463 and the 460 that doesn't have DCC and sound in them. I could rob one of the trucks off of them and rig it up, because that's the other thing. I would have to figure out a different way than what the guy who put the scrapers on this truck. I'd have to figure out a different way, and it's just a project that I'm not ready to mess with at this point.
Yeah.
I got way too much stuff to do on the layout than to spend, an entire weekend tinkering with a truck and solder and things like that.
Yeah, one of these days you'll get to it.
Yep. Like everything else, one of these days.
Well, Anderson, yes, yeah. Claude's had enough. He's out.
Yeah. Well, Jerry, do you have anything new and interesting on your workbench or anything like that?
I just pretty much got my one big manufacturer all mocked up, and I mocked up a background building. They came out pretty good.
Yeah, I saw your photographs.
Yeah, if you want, I can go over and show you the layout.
Sure.
All right, I'm going to drop out of here and pick up on my phone. Carry on.
Okay.
So here's a little trivia. Not really trivia, but what's different about today's show so far, anyway?
You haven't gone to upright mode yet. Did you finally figure out what?
No, I haven't touched it. I couldn't find anything that would do it. So no, I don't know what's causing it.
I haven't had a train derail.
Hey, there you go.
There you go.
Give it to Dennis. He can make it derail. uh,
I don't know.
you don't know.
I don't know what's different.
My screen hasn't gone vertical.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. I just noticed that a little while ago. It's weird because I haven't changed anything. So,
Yeah.
but it's horizontal. Jerry had to
Why'd
leave.
you-
I take it.
Why'd you leave? Did
I
you
was needed. I was needed
Oh.
out there.
They were thinking you had to go potty.
Desk entered the studio. Okay.
That's me.
Oh, it's Jerry.
It's the
Okay.
desk cam.
Desk cam.
It's just
Claude didn't even notice you were gone, Jerry.
I did
No.
notice he was gone. I didn't know where he went. That was the thing.
oh, okay.
So is
So-
this a mock-up?
Yeah, that's my that's a mock-up of my food manufacturer, cold storage. I don't know what it is. So I got two. I can fit 2 cars here, and I have a ground door and 2 truck doors, a man door here. I did have this man door over here, but I got a suggestion to move it over here, which makes more sense because then I can model people going in and out and things like that. You know, I don't know what I'm going to clad it with. You know, I don't know. I haven't figured that out. I'll figure it out. I just drew some lines if I wanted to do the panel type construction on a lot of the models. So I got that going. I can't see chat, so if you got a question, you guys got to read it to me. Then I did this background over here, just a little flat. It's on an angle. I'm going to put fence up. Can you see?
Yep.
Yep.
Going to put fence up. There'll be a door, so there'll be a fence all around it, right? And I'll put some stuff in there, you know, whatever junk and things that are usually at the back of a building. And I would like to put some stone on it somewhere, but this is just paper, adhesive back paper, just to give me an idea of the look. Shirts. I bought some author's roof details, and there's a lot of little things to add to all these roofs. So yeah, it's pretty much what I've been doing, and this is all out of that card stock that you used, and it's that Canson stock.
Yep.
That stuff is really great to work with.
It is.
It's super easy to use and cut and glue together, and it makes a good building. And I might even just use this as the building. I don't know. I'll say. I might just cover it over with styrene or something to get a look that I want. But I don't know. Haven't figured it out yet. But,
Yeah, the only reason not to use that stuff is
Okay.
is how it takes paint, you know.
to the building itself, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the material, yeah. So, like, if I cover it over with some thin styrene, I think that'll be okay. But as far as strength, I mean, it's pretty strong. I mean, it's got somewhat of a back on it, right?
Hmm.
But yeah, it makes a nice building, and it's not. It's
Well, JD wants to know if you're going to 3D print any of your building.
who?
JD?
No, no, no. No, because I mean, there's enough. I mean, it's not like there's enough styrene out there to build something in a short amount of time as opposed to 3D printing something.
Yeah.
You know, the thing with 3D printing is nice. It's nice that you can 3D print what you want, but it takes so long to 3D print something. You know, it's just like I don't know.
It's the learning curve for me. I'm not ready to dedicate the learning curve.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I haven't seen anything 3D printed that impressed me so much that I want to do it. Right, in detail wise, and it's just me. I'm not knocking anybody that 3D print stuff. It's just me. I am. I've told you before. I'm a Rubik, and I'm proud of. Like, yeah. So, I mean, again, it's so easy to build these out of styrene or whatever, that it's just, you know, I won't be 3D printing stuff.
Yeah, I did some of my flats with uh, printed off of some flats
Yeah,
that were
right. And just
in with a
covered them.
disc I got from
Yeah,
Art
yeah.
Products.
I remember we talked about that before, and there's so many things, so many background
Yeah.
designs out there that you could just glue on the cover of this, and it would be fine. It would be fine. Yeah, especially in a background building, because in most cases it's way back there, and you got other things in front of it. But that's all I've been up to. Nothing else.
Cool.
All right. So what have you been up to, Dennis?
All right, I'm going to go back to my.
Well, let me drop out and kind of do the same thing Jerry did.
Okay.
That's
Well, in the
gonna.
meantime, we'll watch Steve's train go.
Yeah, I figure you don't need to watch me. I don't know.
I don't know how this is gonna work exactly.
Oops. I messed up.
Is that Steve's layout up close?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just I
Steve's
messed
layout.
up.
Wow. I don't think I've seen it up close in a long time.
You haven't? Well, we'll see if I move the camera. I don't know. How's this? Let's see. You can't see anything.
I see everything fine.
Because you don't want to see me.
Check Mike.
There's Dennis. Which one do you want on there?
The one that says. I wanted the one that is the computer completely off. I thought I removed myself from the stage. Did I not?
No.
I did.
Okay, you want this you want this one then.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know why my camera's reversed.
Who knows?
Sometimes that happens.
Oh, you need to shave, Dennis.
Okay.
I know what's good. Hold on. Well, no, that's not right either. That's got to be right.
That's correct. There. Yeah. That's the right angle.
So this is what I've been up to.
Oh,
So pretty much everything from
from here to the entrance of the mine is kind of taken care of.
And you're working on the mine building now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm working on that structure right there, the hoist house, the shaft house, whatever you want to call it.
Hope you're not watching this picture while you're doing that, Dennis.
No, I'm not. So you can see the red versus the brown. That was kind of an accident, but I'm going to work with it. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, that's easy. That's an easy fix.
Well, there's nothing to fix. What I'm going to do is right here is going to continue up as a rock feature, and then it's just going to be where the two different types of terrain collide with each other. I may consult with Bill about that specifically to see maybe what it should look like. Because I'm going to kind of keep the two different colors separate from each other to a certain degree. At least that's the plan.
Digger says your rocks are rather splendid.
Thank you.
Yeah, very splendid.
Yeah, it came out really nice. Color notwithstanding.
Do what?
Color notwithstanding.
Oh, you don't like the color?
No, that's okay. I thought you didn't like it.
No,
You're talking about the red versus the brown.
I'm happy with both.
Okay.
No,
Yeah,
There you go.
I like it.
Part of the idea is that, around the basalt area, the ground is red. It's as red as it is here. So, it's just a matter of, do I want to continue this on around the loop and make use of, because the difference between this and that is using burnt sienna burnt umber versus raw umber. That's the only difference between the two.
For me, I like the one on the right just because it has a lot more color and it just looks more vibrant,
Well, in another right through here, I have done washes of the darker umber. I haven't done hardly any washes over here yet.
Yeah. So maybe it'll change when you do a wash.
So you can, let me get a little closer. You might be able to see.
I like them both, right?
I've done some washes in here.
They both
Okay, now Dennis, leave the camera right there and just pan it to the right a little bit. Okay. I was wondering if the lighting wouldn't have some change on that too.
It does. Like, I guarantee the way you guys see it on camera versus the way I see it standing in the room is different.
Is it more of a it looks drastic, those two comparisons to us. Is it?
I would say, yeah, it is pretty drastic.
Okay.
But one of the things that I plan on doing, it's kind of hard to see, but right here, I've got this same color kind of introduced. And what I may do is come back through here. And what you have to do is you have to sand it down to where it's white again. And then you can throw that color on and you can kind of introduce some of the beige into this as it comes this way. I just haven't decided if I want to do it or not yet.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was talking about when I was saying it's the easy fix if you're wanting to blend that a little more.
I mean, another thing that will help tie it all together eventually is the dirt work and the greenery.
Oh, yeah.
Because right now the only colors you have pretty much are the rock colors.
Yeah.
The second you start adding this and some yellows and some lighter and darker shades of green, you know, I might put a tree right in there. Who knows? I think I still have lots of things I can do to help tie the two colors together where it's not quite so drastic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, ground cover goes a long way with blending stuff together.
Yeah.
It looks good either way.
And now that I've got that taken care of, I can also go back in on the backdrop, and I've got some ideas of how to handle either side of this area in here where it kind of blends in a little bit better with the backdrop. The backdrop's not anywhere near complete yet, so don't judge it too harshly. I've still got lots of work to do on it.
I like how you got that little road going around that bend.
Yeah, I don't know if I have the picture.
Did you draw that? Did you paint that?
Yeah.
Man, that looks good, Dennis. You did a good job. You're like Bob Ross.
I don't know about that.
He's got skills.
I think you should do his hair like Bob Ross.
The photograph.
But
That's a real scene from, I think, the Cumbers and Toltec. I can't remember if it's Durango and Silverton or if it's Cumbers and Toltec, but I took a screenshot from someone riding that train across the pass, and so this is reality, so to speak. At least the overall shapes are. The picture was taken in the fall, so all of this pretty much that you see that's green is like shades of brown and orange, and I didn't want to do fall, so that's one of the reasons why it probably doesn't look as good as it should, is just because it's, well, obviously I can't paint well enough to make it look like the photograph. So
well, the mountain to the left on the backdrop looks like it does coming out of the Durango. The mountains to the east look just like that.
well, I think that this area is one of the last things you see coming into Antonito. Like when you come out of the deep gorge area, and then you got that last, I don't know how many miles it is, where it's just basically sagebrush. I think that this is one of the last things that you see coming up out of there. That's what my memory kind of serves as to where this photograph was taken, but I can't remember.
I can see that too. I can see that too. Well, we're about out of time, guys.
The water there, that's going to disappear. That didn't work. That will disappear.
How come?
Well, because the lines are not right with it. You know, I mean, like the water goes uphill. You know,
maybe it's coming downhill.
There's just something not quite right about it, and I'm not sure I know how to. I mean, I might try to see if I can fix it right through here, but it doesn't lay right to my eye. There's something not right about how it disappears into the scene.
Perspective side, yeah.
Yeah, but when my eye goes to that scene, my eye goes to that road. I don't go to that water.
Right.
You know,
and the water's not there in the real picture. It's kind of hard to explain, but you know, as you're painting, you see things because of the lines that you create when you're painting.
Yeah.
This was like a steeper valley that I painted out, and then as I was painting that out, I saw that kind of looked like it could be water. So I painted in water just to see what it would look like, and I don't really like it, so I'm going to paint it out.
You can always cover it up.
Bernard said stand on the other foot, Dennis.
Do what?
Bernard said to stand on your other foot.
Oh, okay, hold on.
Maybe it looks different that way.
I still don't like it.
Well, that's our time, guys.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for showing us, Dennis.
You're welcome.
It looks good. I like it.
Yeah, it's coming along well. Well, guys, thanks for joining us today.
Yep.
And
Have a good week, everybody. Have a good
oh, you
week.
put me on there. There you go.
Keep
All
warm.
right,
Yep.
guys.
Have a good rest of your weekend. Hopefully, stay warm and don't fall on the ice like Gary did.
Yeah.
I
Steve-
almost fell 3 times yesterday.
Oh, you know what you need to get? You need to get those little ice cleats that you put on your shoes. They work
Yeah.
awesome.
The old metal golf cleats
Yeah,
for
those,
golf were good for
I
that.
like that camera view, Steve. That's
I
nice.
like-
that?
yeah. Maybe you could show that all the time now instead of you.
Yeah.
Much better than your face.
You know, I was thinking the same thing.
You guys.
I think anything's better than his
Yeah.
face.
See you guys later.
And
Okay.
I'm still horizontal. Look at there.
Yeah.
Have a good week, guys. We'll see you next week.
Peace
Okay.
out. Later.